Hey guys, this is going to be the beginning tutorial of the Seashore Santa. Say that 10 times fast. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the instructions on how to do this and any Bucilla kit, mostly because with beginners, it can get a little confusing, it can get a little intimidating, and it isn't. It's actually, once you kind of get the hang of it and you get the rhythm of them, it can be pretty simple. So everything is going to come in the kit except for a pair of scissors, which I really like. These ones, they're Fisker Easy Actions. And the reason why they're really awesome is because they have this spring in the inside of them. So it definitely helps the wear and tear on your hands because you're not closing and opening the scissors. And this really helps me. I do have some issues with some arthritis in my hands. So these are really great. So scissors and polyfill. You can get polyfill from Walmart, Target, any craft store that you want to. It comes in great big bags. It's not too expensive. And anything else really you are going to get with the kit. So the kit is going to come like this with all your felt inside of it. Now, it used to be Bucilla would put all the information on these big paper layouts. Well, they have changed them to now your index is going to be on the back of the photo. 99% of the new kits are going to have these color and symbol guides on the back of the photo. And we will go into that later. Then you are going to have your belt that is included with the kit. I've already cut some of mine out, but this is going to be your felt. And then these are the colors. It does not come with these. I buy these on Amazon. They really help with me when I'm sewing. And then all your sequins, they will come in little tiny bags. And I use a Craftmates container for these. Some people use old vitamin containers, which one of my other stockings is currently in right now. And then you're going to have two needles. You're going to have a beading needle and you are going to have a embroidery needle. Your beading needle is going to be long and skinny. Your embroidery needle is going to be kind of short and fat. I keep these from all my kits because it's really easy when I'm going between two colors. I get my other beading needles, I put those on there, or my embroidery needles, and it makes it a lot easier because I'm not constantly changing thread. So what I do want to do is I'm going to flip this over here. And I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit because I want you guys to really be able to see these. So this is going to give you your symbols. So right here, your appliquing is basically the pieces that you are going to be cutting out and putting on the felt. Outline stitch is going to be pretty much any stitch that you're going to do, and we'll go into that also. Back stitch, straight stitch, satin stitch, French knots, beads, and sequins. I do have a mini tutorial on French knots on my Instagram, which is Bucilla_babe85. And I also have done the outline stitch, and I've kind of shown how to do that and on corners. And then it's going to tell you how many strands of each that you have gotten. These are the symbols. And then the color. And down here, what's even cool, the color number. So these color numbers are going to tell you what number that these have actually been named. So that way, whenever or if ever you have any issues, you can get in touch with Plaid and say, hey, I need, another bag of pearl beads. It's HR 524. Plaid is amazing with needing replacement instructions as long as you have bought the kit, or like beads or sequins or anything like that. Other than that, if you're looking for sequins, definitely go to Cartwrights. They are the best. So then we are going to get into the instructions. Once you fold them out, it's going to look like, oh my God, that's a lot. Well, most of the time, they are going to put what the stocking should look like and where your placement is going to go. They're also going to help you with, like, this is the staff the beading and things like that. And this is what I use the most. This is what I really enjoy using. And then this, of course, is going to be the alphabet for the name. The only issue with this is they used to send it where it was blown up and you could just like have it the size you needed. Now they've kind of reshrunk it. They do ask you to resize the alphabet on copier paper, but most of the time, especially if you are not new to Bucilla stockings, you are going to have an alphabet that has already been put out. And I always say it, I'm going to say it again. I have a binder full of my old Bucilla instructions that I use a lot, surprisingly. So keep your instructions. They are definitely going to come in handy in the future when you least expect it. So right here, as you get into your instructions, it's going to tell you the supplies that are included and the additional supplies needed. Each kit's going to be different, but I have never come in contact with something that I normally don't have at home in my craft kit. So this one says a sharp pair of scissors, which is our Fisker, polyfill, paper plates for sequins and beads. I use these like I showed you before, and these are really nifty. They just open and close. I've never used a ruler. I have used straight pins before. They come in really handy. And I also use these. I've shown in the other videos that I've made. These little tiny clips. They're absolutely wonderful. You can get them on Amazon for fairly cheap. A lot cheaper. You get them at a craft store. Tissue paper. I use that for embroidery, which I also have a tutorial on. A more advanced one coming soon. White Chanel stick, which is going to be for the staff. User tip, if you don't have Chanel sticks, use bread ties. They are amazing, and it makes it really easy for you to move them and they don't poke through the fabric later. And blush for his cheeks. Sorting floss. That's going to be step number 1. So the easiest way for you to do it, especially since most of the time they have this really weird name of naming browns a million different colors, and you have no idea what brown it is associated with. So if you go back to this on here, you are going to be able to match them up. Okay. So with the strands, second video 2, the number of strands are the number that you are going to use whenever you sew this particular symbol. This is going to break it completely down on how many strands you're going to need. Each one of these has 6 strands in it. You just pull them apart one by one. Just make sure that you pull them apart carefully so you don't get it knotted. Over here, your yards and 36 inches. Each color they're going to give you is going to be 36 inches long. This tells you how many strands of 36 inches that you are going to get. You have 2 36-inch strands of pale peach. This is my peach right here. Light coral I have right here. I didn't separate it into 2, but it's right here. Then my light blue, I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my aqua, 2, 1, 2. This is going to help you immensely as you kind of get into working Bucilla, because some kits there might be 4 different color browns and you are not going to know, but there might be all 4 of those different colored browns might come in different 36-inch increments. So really pay attention when you're putting your kits together that you're checking and separating your floss, because it's really going to make it easier in the long run. So then as you go to cutting out your felt shapes, do not, and it even says do not, for your own sanity, cut out all your felt pieces in the beginning. For the sake of the tutorial, I cut out the first 10, which I will be embroidering and putting out on the tutorial. But what I did is I did this. I leafed them. I left the number on the side of them that I will cut off. And that's just because if I didn't embroider them and sequin them first, man, that tutorial would be like 7 hours long. And I don't want to do that to you guys. Cut one by one. Follow the instructions. When it tells you to cut out piece number 1, you cut out piece number 1. I do know that there are women out there, are Bucilla people out there that do cut them out 10, 15 pieces at a time. That works well for them. If you are a beginner, do not do that because you are not going to know what one piece is down the other. For any reason, if you do that and you get confused, use your reference picture. That is going to help you. Like if you have piece 11 and you're like, oh man, I don't know what piece that is, you're going to be able to tell. Piece 11 is going to be this long coat right here. So that's going to help you. Separate your strands of floss. I've never done that before. I separate them by their long 36-inch strand. And that is where I leave it. I don't separate each individual 6 strand because I think that's, I don't know, they get a little tangled. So I normally try to keep them together for as long as I can until I start separating them. Using the floss, thread the needles, not 3 times at the end. I only usually knot twice, and I do not thread my needle that way, but this is going to kind of help you, you know, in the beginning. Positioning felt. Make sure that you are reading the instructions. You might have to place it 2 or 3 times. It's really nice to use those straight pins to pin those pieces down if you need help. Stuffing, this is the thing with stuffing. The more you stuff, the more your stocking or whatever piece you're working on is going to do this because you're basically puffing it up, right? So it's kind of like a sandwich. The more you put in the sandwich, the more that bread is going to do this because it's sagging around the sandwich like this. So if you lightly stuff it, it's going to lay flat and you're not going to have a lot of issues with putting the backing on at the end. Because once you put that back on, my very first stocking, I put my backing on and it was like this much too short on either side and I couldn't figure out why. I had stuffed it so much that it puffed that up and pulled all that felt onto the inside that it didn't fit. So I actually had to cut the back and remove the filling and then stitch it back up like doctors. A pleating, pin the felt pieces in place, just like I said, and that's really going to help you. You're going to use 1 strand and you're going to do a little bit, 1 stitch at a time, 1 stitch at a time. Okay, embroidery stitches are going to be by the design, which we're going to go over. We're also going to go over sequencing later in this tutorial as well as the beading part. All right, so now that we have went through our sequence and we went through our thread and the other stuff that we need, I do want to do a quick kind of tutorial explanation, I guess, on your symbols and how to read them. So whenever you are getting ready to do a specific portion of your stocking, it's going to tell you what you need. So I haven't done any of my embroidery yet, but I'm going to pull it out and it'll say on the very first one, personalize, embroider, sequin the stocking's top. Extra sequins are scattered around the name. It's not printed on the felt. So they're going to give you a lot of the information. Normally, I do not do the name until the very last. If I have a name, normally I will make these and leave a name off. And then as a gift or a surprise or whatnot, I will usually find the person that matches the stocking and I will embroider their name at the very end. But I do want to show you right here. You're going to see like these little, each individual spot has a different little design on it, different colors, different symbols like stars and clovers and things like that. Those are going to be your guides. So with this very first one, you are going to see that this little tiny bird has all these little up and down lines on it. I'm going to go to my key and I'm going to say, okay, where are these little tiny lines? They're here. I found them. I need to use 2 white strands and I'm going to do an outline stitch. So this is going to be my guide throughout the entire thing of how to work on it and how to do it. The center name right here, you see how it has this little dot, 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 dot on here? We go over here. I'm going to do the name in 2 strands of dark blue and an outline stitch. So that's going to really help you all the way through. If you do have issues trying to find, you know, kind of what they're talking about or the color that you might need, go back to the picture. The picture is really going to help you too. It's basically giving you exactly what it's supposed to look like, and unless you are making any sort of adjustments or doing different colors, you can really use this as a helping hand. I use pictures a lot. I don't normally change my stockings. I have a couple of times, like changing the different colors and things like that. But if you're not making any changes, that's really going to help you. It's also going to help you with your placement as well. Now with these, this little guy right here, you're going to see number 2. It doesn't have any sorts of embroidery or anything on it, but you're going to see this little symbol next to the number. That's going to be the color of sequins you use. So you see the square with a little dot on the inside. We go back here. You go to your sequins. It's blue sequins. I'm going to use 1 strand of blue to do a blue sequin. And they usually correlate also with the color of thread you're going to use. So blue, orange, aqua, white, you're going to come up here. Orange is probably also going to be, you're going to use like coral. Just match the colors up as best you can. And then right here with your satin stitching is going to be where you basically make a block of color. So that's going to be his eyes. It's going to be dark blue. You go back to your design chart, it's his eyes. And you're going to see that that whole thing is going to be filled in with kind of like that texture. And then if you go in, it's going to show you his eyes right here. That's the whole thing is filled in. Which we're going to go over satin stitch. We're going to go through outline stitch. We're going to go through every other stitch that you may need. And that is how you do your tutorials. Well, that's how you read the instruction for Bucilla kit. If you have any questions, please let me know. I did get this specific kit from Plaid online, Plaid Crafts. They are a absolutely amazing place that you are going to find a lot of great Bucilla crafts in. They also have paints, different things like that that I use. I have a bunch on my shelf, and they have some great Mod Podge options as well, and they also do their own craft videos. So definitely check them out. I'm also going to do a couple of short videos after this on also cutting pieces out, how to cut the pieces out. And the tutorials will start tomorrow. We're going to do it in 10-step increments, which I will make. We're going to go and do it in 10-step increments, which I am going to go ahead and do the embroidery for first, and then we will piece everything together. And like I said, I will do the embroidery individually later, so you can kind of see that firsthand. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you need any other help or you have any other questions, stick them down in the comment section below, and I will get to them as soon as I possibly can. Also, check us out on Instagram, Bucilla_babe85 on Instagram. And we also started a Pinterest page, which you can check that out. It's under Bucilla Babe as well. And we look forward to stitching with you.